Imagine living your life under the shadow of someone who's supposed to love you unconditionally, but instead tears you down, favors one child over another, and leaves lasting scars on your self-esteem. Now, imagine that person dies, and your chance for revenge comes years later, quietly, perfectly, posthumously. Today, we're diving into a story of long-delayed justice, cunning, and a little dark humor that only comes from knowing the ultimate truth. Some revenge is sweeter when it's silent. Before we get started, hit that like button if you've ever wanted to correct an injustice, no matter how small or late, and subscribe for more stories of clever, emotionally satisfying revenge. Stick around, you'll want to hear exactly how this family turned a lifetime of pain into poetic justice. This story isn't about a dramatic car chase, a stolen sandwich, or petty revenge at a grocery store. No, this is about something deeper. Something that touches the soul. Family, childhood, and the scars that last a lifetime. There was a family, a mother, father, and their children. On the surface, they seemed like any other household. But beneath the surface, a storm brewed. The mother, the matriarch, was cruel. Not the casual, everyone gets moody sometimes kind of cruel. This was calculated, verbal cruelty. Favoritism that divided her children. Little acts of subtle sabotage. A particularly harsh eye for her daughters, who bore the brunt of her disdain. The girls never knew when they'd be praised or scolded, but it rarely felt like love. Every compliment for one sibling was like a slap to the other. Their world was a minefield of words. Meanwhile, the father was a different story. A man of warmth, humor, kindness. He was their anchor. A devoted husband, a loving father, a friend to all. He balanced the harshness at home with laughter and care. Imagine growing up with that. One parent crushing your spirit, the other lifting it just enough to survive. As the daughters grew, the impact of the mother's behavior became more apparent. Self-esteem issues. Decisions influenced by fear of criticism. Choices made to avoid conflict or further ridicule. Yet through it all, they carried a quiet hope. Maybe someday, someone would see the truth. Maybe life would balance the scales. But the mother's cruelty didn't end quietly. She outlived her husband by almost 20 years. During that time, the daughters endured years of emotional neglect and constant comparison. 20 years. 2 decades of seeing their father's absence felt differently. His kindness missed, her presence oppressive. And still, nothing they could do. Until the moment finally came. The moment of ultimate responsibility. When the father passed, the family ensured his memory was honored properly. His headstone wasn't just a stone, it was a testament to the life he had lived and the love he had given. Engraved were words that captured his essence. Loving husband, devoted father, kind brother, constant friend. It was clear. Everyone visiting his grave would know the truth. The daughter's love for him immortalized in granite. But even then, the mother's shadow lingered. She outlived him. And eventually, her own death brought the daughters face to face with an opportunity that few ever get in life. The chance to write history. Now, the mother had to be memorialized on the same double plot as their father. And that responsibility fell to the daughters. Think about that. 2 women who had spent a lifetime navigating her cruelty suddenly holding the pen. The power was theirs. They weren't bitter for the sake of bitterness. They were meticulous, thoughtful. They wanted truth, subtle and sharp. Years of pain, of being undervalued, dismissed, and ignored. Now it's our turn. But we'll be clever. We'll be poetic. The daughters approached the headstone carefully. No violence. No overt humiliation. Just words. Placement mattered. Tone mattered. The father's section read as it should. Loving, kind, remembered. Then came the mother's section. Their touch was deliberate, coldly precise. Just one word, one punctuation mark, separating her from his accolades. Also Mary. The simplicity is what makes it brilliant. No praise, no embellishment. Just a factual acknowledgement. The ultimate posthumous joke. Here lies Joe Bloggs. The list of loving superlatives. Also Mary. The engraving conveyed everything without a single lecture. The power of understatement. The daughter's quiet revenge. concise, undeniable, eternal. This is what makes the story resonate so deeply. Moral justification. They weren't cruel for the sake of cruelty, they finally gave truth its proper place. Long-delayed justice. Sometimes revenge isn't immediate. It comes when timing is perfect, when the emotional impact is unavoidable. Subtle genius. The mother is immortalized, but not glorified. Her legacy, like her behavior, reduced to a footnote next to her husband's loving memory. Psychological closure. The daughters get a sense of completion, of reclaiming their narrative. Years of humiliation, of triangulation, of favoritism, finally balanced. Not loudly, not dramatically, but subtly, perfectly. The stone speaks the truth, and nothing more. Picture this. The quiet of a cemetery. The breeze rustling through trees. The smooth cold of granite under your fingertips. The daughters kneeling, watching the words etched in stone, feeling the weight of justice settle in their hearts. No shouting, no confrontation. Just the tactile satisfaction of permanence. The eternal nature of stone mirrors the eternal nature of the victory. Even the simplest detail, they also marry, carries decades of emotion, frustration, cunning, humor, and vindication. We won't overdo it. We won't insult. One line, one word, says it all. She tried to dominate our lives. Now she's just, also marry. No speeches. No fanfare. Just a legacy rewritten with elegance. What makes this story universally compelling is its relatability. Many of us have faced unfair treatment, favoritism, or cruelty from someone close. The satisfaction comes not from malice, but from reclaiming control, rewriting our narrative, and asserting truth. Revenge doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes, the most profound victories are quiet, lasting, and permanent. And sometimes, the sweetest revenge is one that lasts for eternity, etched in stone. The stone stands. Visitors notice the loving accolades for the father, and then glance at the succinct, understated acknowledgement of the mother. A smirk, a pause, a moment of realization. Also marry. The daughters know. Justice served, perfectly measured. Their pain, their cleverness, their timing, all immortalized in granite. She may have outlived him, but her legacy is forever understated, forever secondary. Sometimes the quietest voices speak the loudest. And sometimes, one word can echo louder than a lifetime of cruelty. Life is long, and injustice can linger. But sometimes, justice doesn't need anger, shouting, or confrontation. It just needs patience, cleverness, and a little poetic timing. And when it comes, it's unforgettable. Forever. If you've ever been wronged and dreamed of the perfect comeback, even a quiet, clever one, comment below and share your story. Hit like if you enjoyed this posthumous revenge tale, subscribe for more stories of justice, karma, and clever payback. And remember, sometimes, patience is the greatest weapon of all.